Good evening and welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. For the past few years we have live streamed our graduation ceremony to allow our graduates and their immediate families to be joined by family and friends from around the world to celebrate and commemorate the completion of their high school education. I'm fairly sure at the beginning of this year that few of us would have imagined that our graduates would be viewing this from afar. In a year where the word unprecedented has been used, an unprecedented number of times, we remain determined to mark this occasion and to provide the class of 2020 with the send-off they so richly deserve. You will hear from students, faculty and administration this evening, and their words will leave you in no doubt as to the exceptional character of the young men and women who make up this year's class. They will be remembered for their extraordinary contributions to our school in the fields of academics, sports, the arts, service, student leadership and much, much more. This year marks the 20th graduation I've been part of, and whilst all of the previous ones have been enjoyable, they have tended to merge together in the memory. For a great many reasons, this year's graduation and this year's graduating class will provide memories that will set them apart from any other. Most notably, I can say with confidence that this would have been the case even if we were together under normal circumstances. Class of 2020, the unusual circumstances that collided with your final few months of school will form only the smallest part of your legacy and will pale into insignificance when compared with your achievements over the many years that you've been at TISA. I hope that you enjoy this evening's celebration and that your families and friends share the great pride that we have in celebrating the end of one chapter of your life and the beginning of a new and exciting one. I'd now like to introduce our school director and fellow DP2 parent, Chris Andre, to address the class of 2020.
Good evening, and for others, good afternoon or good morning. Parents, families, friends, alumni, board members, faculty, and most importantly, graduates. Class of 2020, we knew at the start of this school year that the month of May would challenge you in ways you had never experienced, and that this ceremony would be an unforgettable rite of passage. I think we can safely say that both remain true, though for wildly divergent reasons. In addition to a wider audience being able to join us for the ceremony, and an additional benefit of our current circumstance is that you don't have to watch me cry my eyes out and struggle mightily to get through my graduation speech. Because there was 100% chance with my son Marius graduating that I would not have made it through a live ceremony emotionally intact. In fact, the recording, I'm on take number 9 and hoping to avoid double digits. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share this year, I reflected back more than 25 years ago to a quote I first saw when I was a senior in university and a student teacher in South Boston High School in the United States. The quote reads, "I see no hope for the future of our people if they are dependent on the frivolous youth of today. For certainly all youth are reckless beyond words. When I was a boy, we were taught to be discreet and respectful of our elders, but the present youth are exceedingly wise and impatient of restraint." I loved the quote. Not because I agreed with the sentiment, quite the opposite. I love the quote because it is attributed to the Greek poet Hesiod, roughly 2,700 years ago. As I remember, my 21-year-old self told the counselor, "That is awesome." And she pointed to the students in the hallway and then at the quote and said, "That's their job. Class of 2020, that's your job. Now more than ever, we need you to be impatient of restraint. The opportunity for our future lies in our youth being exceedingly wise and impatient of restraint." Contrary to Hesiod, I see nothing but hope for the future of our people because our youth are exceedingly wise and impatient of restraint. Your impatience, matched by your creativity, compassion, and convictions, brought our school a revamped student council, green initiatives, the TISA Action Network, countless relationships and service projects with local organizations. It made you keynote speakers and conference organizers, resulted in Marco, club sports, student instructors and presenters, and collaborative partnerships with parents, faculty, and classmates never before seen until the class of 2020 led the charge and grew increasingly impatient of restraint. Being impatient now does not mean being rude, confrontational, or disrespectful. Again, quite the opposite. Time and again, your lack of restraint has met success when coupled with the maturity, social intelligence, organization, and understanding of complex problems and IB education demands. We are in the midst of fundamental changes in the way we manage our lives and organize ourselves. And your impatience, 21st century skill set, empathy, flexibility, and willingness to take on your share of responsibility will be at the leading edge of our best future. Graduates, continue to be impatient. Your designs, your policies, your innovation, your collaboration, your analysis, your empathy. We are here for it. We need it. And you were great at it. Believe that. Class of 2020, we are incredibly proud of who you are and cannot wait to see who you become. And I'm sure he seated would disapprove. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris, for your words of encouragement, recognition, and support. And on the basis that our audience might be somewhat impatient, we will move swiftly on to our next address. Each year, the graduating class is asked to select a student or students from their number to address the graduation, providing some insight into their time at TISA from a student perspective. In keeping with this class's reputation for doing things a little differently, they've selected 5 students. I'm delighted to introduce Nastasia Gerlich, Inara Zinalova, Aisha Alavardieva, Angela Sanchez Solano, and Marius Andre to speak on behalf of the class of 2020.
Hi, class of 2020. Teachers, faculty, friends, and students. I don't think the end of this year is what anyone planned for. Everyone's locked away and flown back home. But that doesn't mean that what we achieved and worked so hard for over the years is any less impressive or important. We still made it, guys. And a couple years ago, this seemed an eternity away to me. Like no matter how hard or fast I ran, I would never reach it. And I'm sure some of you felt the same. But here we are, in video form, all across the world, with family and hopefully friends. We may have missed out on things like prom and a physical graduation, but because of our situation, we've also experienced how strong our connections truly are, as we've connected through WhatsApp, Netflix parties, Skype, Discord, and countless other platforms. And that's a testament to the amazing group of people that I'm proud to be a part of, the class of 2020. We've already stayed in touch with each other. Now we just have to keep in touch. We've missed celebrating the week after graduation this year. So from now on, we won't party like it's 1999, we'll party like it's our graduation. And our universities and colleges better be prepared for the celebration that we will throw when we graduate from there. I can't wait to see where we go from here. Thank you.
Firstly, I want to congratulate my classmates and thank everyone for taking the time to attend our virtual graduation. I've been a student here at TISA for 12 years and definitely didn't think I'd be saying goodbye to this place through a computer in my bedroom. I've gone through the entire PYP, MYP, and DP programs here, and while it feels abrupt to end my academic career with a pandemic, it has definitely made me realize a few things. I've come to understand through continuing my education and classmate relationships online that the TISA community is not bound to the walls of any building. And if our bonds can survive tumultuous times, isolation, and sudden distance, then they can survive anything. So as I enter the next stages of my life, it is only with excitement and joy, and not a feeling of loss. Because I know that the friendships I've made within the walls of TISA are here to stay. I have no doubt that the TISA class of 2020 will go on to change the world, each in their own way, and that we'll be rooting and supporting each other through it. Thank you.
Finally, we have reached the end of the beginning. Many of you who know me know I did not cast the best first impression here at TISA. However, looking back, I may not be able to justify my actions back then, but I can certainly reflect on them now. One of the many things that TISA has taught me, the power of reflecting. When I was skiing this winter, I was at the top of the gondola in Shagdag. For those of you not familiar with this slope, it's one of the slopes at the very peak of the mountain. And when I got there, a huge amount of fog came in and there was no visibility whatsoever. I couldn't see my skis, my goggles were foggy, but at that moment I told myself that no matter how I did it, I was getting down that mountain. This has been our journey throughout the past few months of DP2. Constant perseverance as the fog becomes thicker. And you have to fight harder to get down. No matter what, in the end, when the fog comes, you know where you have to go. So do it your way, but get down that mountain. I thought of this metaphor and shared it with some of my friends around February, before the global pandemic reached the level it has today, before our exams were canceled, and before our senior year was cut short. Therefore, I do not know how many more foggy mountains we will encounter throughout our lives, is what I would have said. However, under the circumstances, I think a better way to phrase this is to say that I do not know when we will reach the bottom of this foggy mountain, or even what this may look like. I sense we will face a world of great change given this unprecedented situation, but I hope that with the same confidence and strength that we have endorsed throughout these past 2 years, we will find our path and reach our goals.
Hello everyone, I'm Anar Zainalova, and I would like to thank you for joining us to celebrate the TISA 2020 high school graduates. I think it's safe to say that the class of 2020 in TISA has always been set apart from others, and with that, it is only fitting that we are the first to be graduating in such an unconventional way. The past months in quarantine have given me a lot of space and time to reflect. Though our senior year has been cut short, I'm very grateful that I have survived this pandemic and finally finished with the IB, and no longer have to aggressively take notes when I'm watching something remotely related to history. With that, I've been reflecting on my past 6 years at TISA. TISA gave me the opportunity to move back to my home country to an open-minded and international atmosphere, which allowed me to grow in ways I never thought were possible. I always felt extremely supported here, from when I was a clueless M2 who didn't know what the IB was, to when I had to change my extended essay topic 3 times in DP1. The most valuable thing that I learned here at TISA was the importance of building strong relationships and being an open-minded and inclusive person. I want to thank everyone who has been a part of my journey. I'm very lucky to say that I have teachers who have become my mentors and have made friends who I feel like I've known my whole life. I hope all of us continue to engage, empower, and inspire in our future journeys, and I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you.
Dear class of 2020, against all odds, we've made it. My 16 years at TISA have been truly incredible, and I don't think that there will ever be a class as unique as ours. Sitting here today, I couldn't be more proud to graduate alongside the most determined, loving, and intelligent group of people. I hope we can all meet again, whether in a year or in 10, to celebrate this great achievement. After everything that has been said, the only way I can think of ending our speech is by expressing gratitude to everyone that has helped us through the last 2 years. Thank you to all our teachers for always being there for us, for dealing with our emails at 2 a.m, and always believing in us. Thank you to all our classmates, all our memories in the lounge, on Friday nights out, on the basketball court or the football field, on the dance floor at prom, or in the countryside of Gala Alti. These are the moments that we will never forget. The bonds we've made over the last few years have made this entire experience all the more memorable. Thank you also to our parents and siblings for putting up with the long nights, stress, anxiety, tears, and anything else that the IB has brought upon us. But most importantly, thank you to TISA for the experience of a lifetime. So good luck, class of 2020. After finishing high school in the midst of a pandemic, completing hours upon hours of cast, surviving TOK, and finishing the extended essay, we truly do have the ability to achieve anything we set our minds to.
In that group of 5 students alone, we have 2 former Student Council presidents, the co-founder of our Student Communications Group, Marco, CISA Speech and Debate finalists, CISA and SRAA football, volleyball and basketball champions, and 5 of our most talented visual arts students. It's no wonder that the initials of their names could be rearranged to form the word amazing. There might be a few letters left over. The next item in this evening's ceremony is a video produced by Comey Wynne. Comey was the other co-founder of Marco and, over the past few years, has astonished us with her exceptional filmmaking skills, including the production of TISA's school video and the never-to-be-forgotten Teachers' Christmas tribute video of 2018. She has excelled herself with this evening's film, made for the class of 2020. Enjoy.
We are the class of 2020.
We wish we could tell you that our story ended predictably.
With the stress of overwhelming IB exams, the relief of leaving the exam room for the last time, and the absolute freedom as we partied all night, threw those caps, and walked that aisle.
Instead, our ending was a bit of an odd one, because it really felt like yesterday.
No, ages ago, when we were talking with our friends at school, studying in the library, sitting in our classrooms dreading the start of class. Little did we know that the minute we left school that Monday, March 5th, some of us would probably never see each other again. Because within weeks, we were scattered all around the world, mentally having to prepare for the next day of online school and studying for our final exams that just didn't happen.
Who would have thought that our prom would be cancelled, our prank day stolen, our graduation ceremony virtual?
Who would have known the next time we saw our friends and teachers would be in a small square through a digital screen? Close yet far. There, but not. Before we knew it, we were sitting online exams and rushing to the next online call, suffering through patchy Wi-Fi and unmuted microphones.
Hi TISA grads of 2020.
I hope all of you are well.
When I met you in 2014, this is what you looked like. Fine young men and women. Young. And now look at you. Oh my goodness. Adults ready to take on the world. Look at you. Amazing.
My favorite memories of the class of 2020. I have got 7 years of memories to choose from. Some that stand out are you guys completely redoing the courtyard in M3. Patrick and Andrew's Donner documentary in M5.
The one thing I do remember is that you laughed at Mr. Hubbock's jokes. And I thought, this is a nice class. They're willing to laugh. And I remember you even laughed at Mr. Hubbock's jokes during lockdown. I thought that was impressive too.
The other big memory of mine would be the Norman Borlaug fiasco. And kids who are in my class would know what I'm talking about.
And I also remember when we were making a birthday display and you had to colour in a little cupcake which had the date of when it was your birthday, and you all hated that. You were too cool for school, even by M3.
Some of the things that come to mind is all of you helping Marius unpeel his body from the body cast. Me needing to break the news to Nastia that mice have eaten her artwork in M3.
Fondest memory is probably the most recent memory, which was the last 15 minutes of my last ever history class with my DP, 2 historians. The warm feedback from this glorious group of 7 was a career highlight, and one which I wished I'd recorded.
Hi from sunny Canada. It's a beautiful day here. One of my favourite memories of the class of 2020. I remember them in M4 in my music group. The highlights of those was a video done in a construction site with, I think it was led by Logan Lowe, where he lip-synced Staying Alive, which was performed live by Lizzie on the stage, and as the video played behind, the lip sync actually fit perfectly what Lizzie was singing. And congratulations, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
And now you've finished your EEs, they're done. You've internalised CAS, that's done. And even the chemistry students have handed in their IAs about maybe 12, 18 hours before Mr. Hubbock had to submit them to the IB. Well done, you guys.
One of the lines you may have heard me use from October onwards to get you through some of the most difficult times is that before you know it, you'll be sitting on the stage waiting for Mr. Andre to officially graduate you. Now this year I was wrong. You're not sitting on a physical stage, but this is still a stage. It's a metaphorical stage, both in your development, academically and personally, and it's a stage on which to celebrate the adaptability and the resilience that you have shown in getting to this stage are the things perhaps we need to celebrate the most.
I'd like to just share with you one of my favorite quotes. It comes from a man named Joseph Campbell, and he said, "Simply follow your bliss." And so as you're out on your own, and there may be times where you don't know exactly what to do, but I think if you follow his advice, it won't lead you astray.
For the last 2 years, I have collected so many unforgettable memories that will always warm my heart. Your enthusiasm and drive have always been inspiration for me.
Hi, my name is Robin, and the poem that I have pulled is called The Class of 2020. It's a one-line poem. The first thing we notice with the word class is immediately the harsh C and the soft S's. So we have some contrast in sound, showing there's maybe more than one type of person in this class. We also get some ambiguity with the word class, because class can mean many things. It can mean, of course, a year group, but it can also refer to social status, like in The Great Gatsby, and it can also refer to some kind of quality, like high class, low class, he's top class. It can also refer to a biology classification system, but I don't understand bio.
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So if you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me.
The next thing we come to is the 2020, and of course we will recognize the repetition. And 20 has an interesting symbolic value. It means empowerment, and it means infinite potential. And I looked that up. The internet said it's true, so it has to be true. Also, when taken together, the 20 and the 2020 refers to perfect vision, but it also refers to hindsight, looking back, possibly that we only see the truth when we look back. The truth is in the past.
It's been a privilege to work with you for the last 2 years. I know that you're all going to be successful and do amazing things next year and beyond.
Hello, class of 2020. Mr. Monahan here, making a guest appearance. I just wanted to say, well done for getting to the end of your IB diploma. A pretty big feat. Also, well done for my econ class for making it after I deserted you after a year. I always knew you would be able to do it. Yeah.
It's a great, super exciting time for you guys. All these different things that are happening are weird. Change is around the corner, but change is always good, so embrace the change. It's great teaching you. It was great being here for 2 years with you guys and seeing all the fun you had and all the learning that you did. And we'll miss you, okay? And don't feel bad to come back and share your ideas and your life and your experiences. It's always nice to see where you are in life, okay?
As you move into this next chapter, I would love you to celebrate the people that come into your life with a smile and embrace their differences. Enjoy the sounds and smells around you, and don't miss out on the simpler things in life. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. So grads of 2020, go shake our world for the better.
Right, a little bit of advice. First of all, be creative and get a hobby. It's really good for your mind and soul. Secondly, keep your friends and family close by. You never know when you're going to need them. Third, always eat healthy. Okay, food's really important for your mental and physical well-being.
But we've gotten to watch you grow through your awkward middle school years and through your high school years. And your class has shown amazing grit and determination. You've overcome huge obstacles. Some of you are still finding that path, but you've shown the determination to really work through any issue or problem, and I am so very proud of you all.
Please take care of yourselves, stay in touch with your TISA community, and do not party too hard. Please call your parents weekly, daily. They would really appreciate that.
You have been a great group of students to work with over this past year. Though usually very quiet during our economics lessons, sometimes painfully so, you've all shown that you are hardworking and eager to learn about the world around you.
Nothing in life is possible as long as you take the first step. And as of today, You are taking the first step in creating your own future and trying to make this world a better one.
When we think back on those little M3s that we saw 5 years ago, you aren't those people anymore.
You really helped us to know who we are. You are thinkers and you're artists, you're performers, you're good friends. You are trailblazers. You leave more legacy than any class before you.
It's been my pleasure to watch you play rugby, ukulele, football, basketball, rugby, bagpipe, guitar, drums, bass. I've also heard you argue and speak. You've made art, movies, clothing designs. You've been swimming, singing, acting and dancing. You've organised and you've taken action. And you grew vegetables.
When you encounter challenges, setbacks and adversity in your life, and you will, the thing that will matter most is your response. Regardless of what happens, it will always be what you do next that matters most. And Jackson, Twin Day, nailed it, except for the haircut.
When some of you guys were in M1, I promised half-jokingly that I would be here when you graduate. And it breaks my heart to be making these congratulation wishes to you from far away. But if ever there was a class that could finish the DP like no other class in a generation, a class that could weather a storm that nobody saw coming and emerge from it better and stronger and clearer vision, then it's your class. You've always been the ones that could ride the change. In fact, often it was you guys who started it. You've changed TISA, and it wouldn't be any exaggeration to say that you're certainly off to change the world.
Enjoy life while it happens, because it goes by very, very, very quickly.
We will miss you, and I hope to see you all soon again.
You should be proud of yourselves as we are proud of you.
Big hugs to all of you, and take care. Ciao.
I know that we'll be proud of you, and I know you'll make a difference.
Best of luck with all your endeavors.
I hope everything goes okay.
Goodbye and good luck.
Go well.
Bye.
Good luck, class of 2020.
And then one final message.
Good job!
Have fun in the future, and cheers.
We are the class of 2020. We wish we could tell you a story with a predictable ending, one where we had our last prom, our graduation ceremony, our final goodbyes. We feel the loss of the experiences that should have been ours.
But at the same time,
We're more than what we've lost. We're artists, dancers, musicians, filmmakers.
we're CISA champions, record holders, change makers, and lifelong friends.
After all of this, I know for a fact that instead of throwing our hats, we'll, I don't know, probably throw a party, throw our worries away, throw a skipping stone that marks the next chapter of our lives from high school and beyond. We left our legacy.
We are unforgettable.
And we have one hell of a story to tell.
Thank you, Kobe, not only for this evening's video, but for the amazing work that you've done for us for the past few years. And now to the serious business of the evening, the presentation of awards and of graduation certificates. I'd like to begin by handing over to our college counsellor, Sarah Borgating, to recognise those students who met the threshold for honours and for high honours awards.
Hi, I'm Sarah Borgerding, and I've had the distinct honour of working with these amazing young people as their school counsellor. I'm proud to be presenting their honours awards for the class of 2020. I'm very sad to not be sitting among you this year as we celebrate, but I am immensely proud of all of you and thankful for having had the opportunity to work with such amazing and inspiring young people. Every student graduating this year has taken on the challenge of IB courses, one of the most academically challenging programs offered in secondary schools around the world. At TISA, students earn honors if they have earned a total of 30 points or higher in each of the 4 semesters of their IB Diploma. This is above the world average for the IB Diploma program. This year, those students are Ege Bozdinas, Patrick Kasky, Andrew Kasky, Saif Saeed, Angela
Sanchez Solana, Kyla Russell, Naomi Sadler, Marius Andre, Sam Norton, Inara Zainalova. Students who earn a 35 or higher are exceptional and are enabled entry into the world's top university programs. At TISA, we award these students who have earned a 35 or above in each of their 4 semesters of their IB Diploma program high honors. This year, these students are Aisha Alaverdieva, Nastya Gerlich, Komi Nguyen, Emma Valinsky, Amelia Akundova, and Giovanni Massari. Congratulations to you all and to all your hard work and perseverance. I can't wait to see what you do with this next.
Thank you, Sarah, and congratulations to those DP2 students whose success you recognised. We present special awards each year to the 2 students whose academic performance places them at the top of their class. It's my great pleasure to announce that the first of these awards goes to this year's Valedictorian, Emma Valinsky. Emma manages to balance her academic commitments with multiple other interests, most notably her leadership of the TISA Action Network. Congratulations, Emma. The second of our awards, the Valedictorian, goes to the student whose academic performance places them at the very top of their class. This year's recipient is hardworking and academically brilliant in equal measure. She's predicted to score the maximum of 45 points in her IB Diploma, a feat achieved by between 0.3 and 0.4% of students worldwide each year. I'm delighted to present this year's Valedictorian, Emilia Akundova. As is customary, Emilia and Emma will now address the class of 2020.
Hello, dear class of 2020, the class that will never be forgotten. Welcome to TISA's first ever online graduation ceremony.
While we've been writing this speech, I couldn't help but think of our lives so far as a novel. I had always imagined that primary school was the exposition, the introduction to my story, where I learned more about myself and my interests.
Entering DP and preparing for mocks, this was part of the Rising Action, where we were tried and tested to see if we can stand up to the real challenge.
And the climax, 3 weeks of IB exams just waiting for it to end. And now, finally, the resolution, our graduation.
We've made it this far, following our story. Perhaps a few pages missing from the climax, since we graduated with online exams rather than real IB exams, and a bit of a different resolution than we might have expected.
But the thing is, the outline for this story that I had pictured in my head, the outline that we have lived, that story wasn't written by us. In some ways, that sequence of events was expected.
Of course, we couldn't have predicted the smaller things, the things we'll look back on with satisfaction, and some things we may even regret.
We'll always remember celebrating International Day, sitting through TOK classes, writing our 4,000-word extended essay that some of us barely turned in on time. In fact, we both handed ours in after the extension of the original deadline. We may have had regrets, thinking to ourselves, wow, maybe I should have tried harder on that IA, cheered louder during SRAA.
To the pleasure I know this sentence brings to Mr. Kasky and Ms. Borgerding, I really regret the number of absences I had in the last 2 years. It saddens me to realize that our last day of high school was really our last day of high school without us even realizing.
But even as we filled in the blanks of this pre-existing structure, we knew that we were going to end up here, at this graduation, in some way or another.
I am so proud to be standing here besides Emma to represent our class as valedictorian and salutatorian.
We have so many high-achieving students watching this right now. In fact, I'm really proud to say that this year has been an overwhelming female majority graduating with high honors and honors.
Despite this being a very non-traditional way of graduating, I couldn't be more proud of everything that our class has achieved together.
And we'll always remember those moments shared with our teachers, their quirks that made DP a little bit easier to endure.
Like Mr. Matham hounding us about cast reflections, Ms. Borgerding telling us to update our bridge view.
We'll miss listening to Mr. Poggi and Mr. DePuter, and to Mr. Borgerding with his unconditional passion for Robert Frost.
Oh, and let's not forget Mr. Franco's awesome beard and Saturday school, Mr. Grope's trendy sandals, and Mr. McCluskey's epic sideburns.
I'll definitely remember Miss Anna's creative quirks, Miss Kindra's daily coffee deliveries, and
Miss Nagar's excessive deadline extensions.
We'll remember these moments alongside Miss Favre's overly philosophical ponderings during TOK, Miss McNaught's gossip sessions, and Mr. O'Hara's rants about life and advisory.
And save the best for last, we will never forget Mr. Hubbock.
And for all those that have helped us achieve this, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Without your support and your encouragement, we wouldn't have had the honor to stand here in front of you today. So thank you to our friends, our families, our teachers, and our parents.
But now that we're actually here, this doesn't feel like the end of a story, of a chapter. It doesn't feel like how I imagined it at all. It feels like the beginning.
This time we've spent in high school, this was just a prologue to the rest of our lives. Now it's time for us to make our own decisions. We decide what we want to change and who we want to become.
We can write our own stories, however we want to, experimenting with different styles, genres, plots.
We will look back on our years at TISA, be it 8 years, 6 years, or just 1 year, with a smile. We will look back on our friendships that we have formed and be grateful for our shared memories together.
It's time to take up our pens and paper and write our way through each day of the rest of our lives. And in the words of George Bernard Shaw, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself.
Even though we were denied the opportunity to say goodbye on our own terms, we stand together, the unforgettable class of 2020, as we take our first steps into adult, independent life. It is with a heavy heart that we say goodbye to you, to all of you, but it is also with an incredible sense of pride. I am proud to have had all of you in my journey, and I cannot wait to see what we all achieve in the future.
Thank you, Amelia and Emma, for such a wonderful, uplifting address. Our graduates are asked to select a teacher speaker each year to address their class, and for the second year in a row, they've selected their DP coordinator, Mr. Gareth Hubbock. Gareth was somewhat surprised to be selected, given that his voice was the one they'd heard most over the previous 2 years. And it was a challenge for Gareth to deliver a speech that didn't include a metaphor about the DP programme being like a mountain that had to be moved one stone at a time. But he did manage it. We're about to find out if he's managed it again this year. Mr. Gareth Hubbock.
I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But it is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. As I'm sure you guessed, that's from J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. Class of 2020, today is the 6th of June, a special day for you and for your families, a day to celebrate and to rejoice, and yet just another day. A day that you will remember, but not a day that will define you. This is a time that you will remember, a time history will remember, but it will not define you any more than history is defined by a specific event or perspective. For you are not defined by a day or a time, but how you use that day and how you meet the challenges of that time. Remember the day, or should I say days, you repeatedly kicked a ball against my office wall? Remember the day, or should I say days, you promised to hand in your extended essay? The day you played the best game of basketball or football or volleyball in your life. The day you got a 7 in the exam. The day you said that kind word that meant so much. Remember the day your team got thrashed, humiliated. The day you got a 3 in the exam. The day you came back from school thinking, if only I had. Triumph and disaster are, as Rudyard Kipling said, two impostors. They are not what they seem, they are what you make of them. We are living through history, but the simple truth is that all generations have and will. It is a statement of the obvious to say that every day is history, just as it is a statement of the obvious to say that every day is a day of your life. Some are perhaps more memorable, but in the end, one day is no more significant of itself than any other day. 1 month of your life is, of itself, no more significant than any other month. The significance lies in what you make of it and what you learn from it. Today is the 6th of June, D-Day. In 1944, 76 years ago, the Allies invaded occupied France. D-Day is not the full story of World War II, or the full story of the generation of those who fought in the war, just as your graduation is not the full story of your time here at TISA, whether that be 16 years or 2 years. You are the first class in TISA to sit exams online and to graduate online. The class of coronavirus, as no doubt some will name you. Don't let them. Don't let others define you. Define yourselves. Because if you define yourselves, you can define the times you live in. As Winston Churchill said, history will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Class of 2020, congratulations on this your graduation day. Now, go and write your own history.
Thank you, Gareth. An excellent address that shows clearly why the class of 2020 chose you as their speaker. Now, at this point, we get to the reason why we're here this evening, the presentation of certificates. In the absence of the ability to do this face-to-face, we asked each of our graduates to film their own presentation to be included as part of a larger film shown here this evening. Let's take a look at that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to officially recognize the International School of Azerbaijan's graduated class of 2020.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations to our graduates. You've now joined the ranks of the TISA alumni. During those presentations, we saw our students as they are today, young men and women. But before I hand back to Chris Andre to bring this evening's ceremony to a close, I thought it might be nice to remember them as they were just a few years ago. Our thanks go to Naomi Sadler for compiling this year's Baby Picture slideshow. Thanks, Naomi, and excellent job. Well, we're almost there. I began by stating that you would hear from students, faculty and administration this evening, and that their words would leave you in no doubt as to the exceptional character of the young men and women who make up this year's class. I hope that this has indeed been the case and that you've enjoyed this evening's ceremony. I'd like to thank our IT Director, Dan Eggerov, our Admissions Coordinator, Andrea Gerlish, and our DP Coordinator, Gareth Hubbock, all of whom have given up enormous amounts of time to help make this evening happen. Further thanks go to all members of the TISA community who contributed to this year's graduation. All that remains is for me to hand you back to our Director, Chris Andre, for some closing remarks. After these remarks, we'll have a short video made by your teachers celebrating the individuals that make up the class of 2020. Over to you, Chris.
Hello again. As you can tell from our outstanding program and my sunglasses, our virtual format didn't save me from being an emotional train wreck. Congratulations, class of 2020, you've done it. In closing, I would like to leave you with a TISA version of an Azerbaijani proverb. The Azerbaijani proverb goes, Ayil başta dir, yaşta değil. Intelligence lies in the head, not in the age. The TISA tweak to this proverb is Ayil başta ve yürektir, dir, yaşta değil. Intelligence lies in the head and the heart, not in the age. It's never been more true than it is for our graduates. Your head and your heart, coupled with your impatience, will lead us to great things. Class of 2020, on behalf of everyone watching, I'd just like to say, woo! You did it. Congratulations. We wish you joy, success, and love in everything you do. Thank you.